This facility is now on high alert. Please stay calm and proceed to your nearest evac point. Emergency alert. Please make your way towards evac point in an orderly fashion. Do not be alarmed. Proceed in an orderly fashion towards your nearest emergency exit point. Station personnel will be on hand to see you to your evacuation vessel.
All right. It's been a while since I have played Elite Dangerous. It's gonna be interesting. Let's see if I remember how to navigate the menus. Gonna give me the route for that. There we go. Actually, I think we still need to scan this particular system. got some geological, might be worth checking out. What did we miss somewhere? That's it. Now we get to see if anything worth darn is around. Space world, nothing looking like it's terraformable. Nothing really. And we get to see where else we can go here. Thinking about it. Where the hell is the orbital plane? They're all fuel scooping. There's some stuff here. Looks like it's all gonna be biological there though. What are these gamer tags? Geological. Somebody had biological. There's one. Might go check out that biological just to see. I'm down for that. It's always a little sketchy when you gotta land on one of these. It's been a while. A little rusty. Should have paid attention to the gravity here too. Last thing I want to do is go slamming into this. There we go. Perfect. 6 probes is efficient. It's definitely easier to do this without the HOTOS than it is with. This one. I think we gotta get 90 and it'll auto complete the scan, so I gotta get another 41%. 31 technically. See how much that covers before I go waste our last 2. It's gonna be tough. I bet I'll have to go over the 6 limit. Could have been worse. Backside's pretty much covered, so we gotta get... Ooh, I need to be a little further out, I think. Shoot. Get 7% roughly. Maybe. Ooh. Come on, baby. Yeah. So we got stratum. Alright, now the tough part is figuring out where the hell it's at. Actually, before we commit to this, what's our gravity here? 0.53 Gs. Okay, so it shouldn't be like insane pull, I believe. The way that works, that means it's less than normal Earth gravity. Those things seem like they're really spread out though. That could be a little tough to find, I bet. We're gonna try to land right in it. definitely not a lot of... Can't tell from that scan quite yet. It looks like this stuff might be in like low spots, maybe like valleys. Maybe not. That looks a little flat right about where our target marker is. Close to it. Let's see if we can land. This is like a different type of biologic. I don't think it's bacteria. I think bacteria has its own bacteria title. I think this is like a, could be like that stuff we scanned at our last stop where it's almost like, looks like coral. Take me a minute to get that far though. We're still pretty high up, almost 3 kilometers. Try to land right in that low spot and then we'll bust out our scarab and ride around a bit. This looks like one of those places too where there's like really weird texture pattern on the... Ooh, we're coming in a little hot. I don't like that. I need to remember my shortcut keys. See if it will set us down. I think it might be those little green blotches I see scattered around in the distance, so we're gonna have to see if that's actually what it is. I bet it is. That'll be nice if there's like a really good color offset, make it easier to see. I was worried it was gonna be, I did one of these in the past that was like literally brownish red, and it was like, how in the hell are you supposed to see that amongst rocks and sand? Come on, computer, are you gonna set us down, or should I do this myself? Doesn't look like it's working too well. Yeah, I feel like docking computer could have been thrown out the window for exploration. Gravitating toward the one spot that is elevated. Can I like force you into going the other way? No? You're just gonna fight me? Okay. Here's where we do that. I don't remember the shortcut keys. Left and right. Yikes. This part's harder without the hoe toss. See if I can get that to work, maybe. There we go. So need to remember to refuel this puppy too. Legs aren't even down on the ground. Okay. That's our scan right there. Module not functional. It's that close that it won't let us deploy it from the ship. Now it will. There we go. Now we gotta scan it manually and go find 3 of them total. First football confirmed. Yeah, thank God this is like a nice bright color. Like, my God, I've had worse than this so much. Lime. Now, trouble is we gotta go pretty far away, I think, before it'll let us scan for enough diversity. So we gotta drive a little ways. This one's going to be far enough, but we'll test it. The bacteria is pretty far. I think it's like 2.5 kilometers or something. This is probably like less than 1. Ooh, slow down.
Drive assist off.
Let's see if this will let us scan. Maybe? Yep. Okay, so that's how far is our ship? About 750 meters, so it must be like a 500 meter cutoff, which is not terrible at all. Would be my best guess. Now the question is, we gotta find another little patch somewhere. See what's up on this little ridge. I bet it's pretty rough up there. This place looked like it had some pretty big pitted areas as we were flying in. Can't see. Ooh. There's definitely some off in the distance. We can ride a little ways, it's alright. Just be careful not to fly down the hill and roll this thing into a wall. Don't hit these ones right down here to our left. Might be far enough. Can't really tell. I think it'll technically show us from where we last scanned them at, so we can get an idea. It's just as fast to try to scan it though. Yeah. Come on, show me my last scan. $311 meters, so yeah, we need to get just a bit further. I was trying to be lazy. Really like to stream this and play in VR, but man, it is just still a little too toasty out in this area right now to do that without sweating to death and being miserable. Be our last needed scan. Boom. Alright, back to the ship. These really rough areas though. This is like really easy to jack my equipment up, and we're pretty far away where I don't want to destroy anything, because we're gonna lose use of it if so. Guess it was a little trickier to land in this area than I'd hoped. It's deceivingly rough. Thing. It's so enticing, but also a good way to jack it up. Landed in the right spot though. We were uber close to a lot of it, like literally right on top of us. Alright, so that one is done. I don't think anybody else here has biologics, just some geological. Oops. Yeah, geological, nothing. I don't really feel like chasing the geological down, so let's plot ourselves the next leg of our journey. Just Gonna keep heading towards Sagittarius A. Oops. 4 jumps. Go ahead and turn our advanced docking computer back on just to be safe if something sketchy happens somewhere and I'm not paying attention to the fact that I shut it off. Right now we just gotta boost up and out of here. Look at that sun. It's not going to let us do the plotted course until I'm up and away from the planet. I can replot that. I think we automatically did, yes. Still got a ways to go to get out far enough. Sensitivity and control is definitely worse than using a joystick for sure. Scanning all those asteroid belts and a few close planets or stars. Bodies. Let's see what we got here. Couple still behind the star. I'll have to move for that. Looks like nothing but ice and rocky metal, whatever. All the rice stuff, as they call it, I believe. be somebody ripe for terraforming though. If so, we can scan it and make some good credits. Icy bodies. Too far away from that sun now. Metal content. To navigate around the star just a little bit to be able to get the couple that are locked in behind it, just to be thorough. So let's go ahead and do that. We're here. I'll try to get us refueled without lighting the ship on fire. Still a little sore, goodness sakes. Been like 2 days, almost 3 days now of like some kind of horrible allergic reaction. We are not away from that star yet. What am I doing? Should be far enough away from it now. There's one of them we need. That was all we needed. So now... terraform. And nothing worth. I would assume these might have no features. No features. Nothing. Yeah, it's kind of hard to like retrain your brain to use mouse and keyboard after you've used HOTOS. Throttle down what we're doing. Crazy how quickly I switched to like remembering those toggle switches and everything, and now I'm like hitting the wrong keys, kind of pecking my way around. Bodies, good lord. It's still scanning belts and a few close by bodies though. I think it's done. Looks like this place is not much different from the last we were just at, though. These ones aren't worth nearly as much typically, but it'd be cool if nobody's discovered them yet, because that's always nice to have your name on one. These look like they've been discovered though. Somebody came through. Missed one back there, it looks like. Whoever the Mayura person is definitely was pretty thorough. Thorough indeed. Goodness. Until I've been getting crappy sleep. Nice. It's a lot of icy worlds. That's it. I doubt there's going to be much of anything super useful here. Geologic. nothing. Should still have our course plotted, so we're going to go ahead and refuel. Those little asteroid belts. Bodies. Water-based life, that kind of wakes you up. Interesting. Very Jupiter-esque. We're still missing 6. These are all literally going to be icy. Damn. Terraformable. One biological there. Might be worth going to check out since it's the only one. Now we'll refuel. What's great about this particular ship is you can really be a little negligent at times, and it takes an absolute beating in the heat department before it even gets close to overheating, which is great. Wasn't the shortcut I wanted. Crazy. You have to take a minute and get a little ice pack for the evening. Cool it off a tad. See if that helps. Do that once we try to land here. This thing is 119,000 light seconds away. It's gonna be a minute. This one should have reconsidered my options maybe for something this far away. This is definitely a ways out there. It's the only one we need to go visit, though. We'll take it. Gives us something to chase. guess it's not super terrible. It's definitely longer than what you'd usually scan, I guess. Definitely not something you'd want to do if you had like multiple scans to do in a same singular system. IMO. A bit of lightning out there tonight. I wonder if it's heat lightning just because of how warm it is. It doesn't really look like we're going to get much in the way of rain, even though we kind of need it. Cosmo, traveling anywhere specific? Not really. There is a settlement, if you're familiar with Elite Dangerous at all, way far away from, like, Seoul and the known galaxy, I guess, that is actually settled, like, in-game. I've thought about heading there. We still might. I mean, it's something that's not going to be reachable tonight, so I guess it kind of depends. What I always liked about exploration in this game was just kind of seeing where it took me. Like, some areas you can just, yeah, what the hell did they call it? We'll look it up on the galaxy map. I should, once we get this planet scanned and at a safe distance. It's gonna drive me nuts now that I can't think of the name. It was like the Golden Goose in Elite Dangerous many years ago when they added that for people to chase after and get to. It's probably really not as hard for me to reach in this particular ship now, but Colonia, that's it. Just hit me. Colonia. We are generally headed that direction. So it's definitely in the realm of possibility on the distant horizon. Gosh, this place was so far away. Wish I'd paid close attention to that. But it's fun to chase a little biological scan. Trick for me is going to be getting wherever I'm going to go safely with all of this data, not getting killed, because then a lot of my time will have been for naught monetarily. I guess the experience is there. I'd like to take a look anyway, get a reading on how far away from the settled space I am. It's probably somewhere over 1,000 light years, not as far as I think, I'm sure. A long time ago, I had it in my head to travel all the way to the other side of the galaxy. That's the allure, right? Like, pursuing what the unknown. When I started playing this game on Xbox years ago, I was convinced like I was just gonna go so far for however long it took, and it's one of those things that when you see how daunting it is to go that distance, that you're like, am I really that motivated? So, relatable, I know what you mean. Getting closer now, finally. Now I just gotta make sure we don't come in too fast. I think the furthest out I've been was the Crab Nebula. I've heard of that one. I'm not familiar with where it is. We'll have to look on the galaxy map maybe and see. The closest I got, like as far as venturing far away, the old Asp I had one for a long time. I actually really liked it. Such a good exploration ship. The furthest I got with anything personally was I headed toward the Witch Head Nebula. But the Witch Head Nebula, at least at that time, years ago, had a lot of permit locked systems around it. And I didn't know that leading into it. I was a little newer to the game and didn't know what to plan for or whatever. And I was just kind of throwing a trip together on the fly. And when I got fairly close to it and realized I wasn't going to be able to get very close, it was kind of disheartening. So that kind of shut me down from doing the long range until now. I can speed up a tad, but I know we're going to come in so fast in this big ship. I still miss my Asp Explorer. It was a good ship. I could buy another one, I guess. Doesn't take much to outfit them, which is great. Crab Nebula is pretty big. That's cool. Witch Head was pretty small, I believe. I don't know if you've ever played any Elite Dangerous with the voice command, like the HCS voice packs that they sell. I have one on here. I kind of forgot to equip it for this evening, but it's alright. It's my first time logging back in quite a while. And I actually have the William Shatner one, which is amazing. It's so fun. And it lets your ship AI talk back to you in like famous voice actors and actresses' lines. And I guess a lot of them are programmed to do like kind of a vocal tour of certain nebulas when you go to it. It's really neat. If I play more this week, I'll definitely make sure I have mine on. It's really fun. Just gives you somebody to talk to when you're floating around out here. Goodness sakes, how far is this? Crazy. Yeah, threaten to blow up the ship. I think his voice line actually has one of those features as well, where it's kind of like a practical joke, and it says like initiating self-destruct sequence, and you're like, wait, what the hell? And then you realize he's like, haha, just kidding. See, coming in hot. I knew. Doesn't take much. I need to definitely plug my HOTAS in tomorrow or whenever I play. It does not take much to come in hot. What do we get? 7 probes for an efficiency target scan. Let's do 1 and see where that lands. Keep seeing those flashes of lightning outside. I wonder if it's going to be a little bit of a storm or, like I said, just the heat. So that landed a pretty good chunk of the bag. So let's do roughly half. And then that's 20% with 1 scan, so if I don't clutter too much of them up. That's pretty good. Let's go. That's 3. This one we could probably go.
Surface scanned by 50%.
60%, that's pretty good. I'll take that. Kind of want to capture that backside just a tad, but I don't want to lose. I think we're well within our range of the 7 projected probes. Get that little target efficiency. Pretty good, 78%. And we still got 3 more we could throw. This one needs to be primarily on the front. Yeah, the voice packs are pretty fun. I like them. Hey, we got it. So what do we have? Bacterium. Ooh, that could be a tough one to find. Let's check the gravity on this puppy as well. .47G should be not too sketchy. Always had pretty rough luck with the bacterium scans though. Hopefully the surface of this place isn't quite as rough as what we experienced on my last outing. Not quite close enough to tell yet. It's pretty big areas to cover, which makes it really tough when you're trying to find the scan. It's going to depend a lot on the coloration. Some of the bacterium samples are like blend in so much with the ground coloration that it's like impossible to see. Big craters, but definitely doesn't look as rough as our last spot. Ridge lines and whatnot, nothing crazy. Love to be able to see him right from the cockpit. Know what I'm looking for. Don't know. We'll give our auto landing gear a try, but it didn't do so hot for us last time. Oh, forgot to lower the landing gear, duh. So we're looking for bacteria. Kind of been bugged out on the landing gear here, like not even resting on the surface. This place does not look fun for finding bacteria unless it really contrasts the surface. And also, I need to kill this light. Feeling this is going to be not. So the bacteria will show up like if we happen to kind of pass over it with our crosshair, but as far as like if I just do like a regular area scan, etc., it will not, which is what makes it incredibly difficult to find. I've had pretty good luck the last couple planets I've landed on where it wasn't bacteria though, it was like almost like coral-like growths, stratum or stratum, whatever they call it, and those I found pretty quickly. The bacteria always seems like it's much more difficult to spot. I usually ride around the little radar light display. No, it will not. I usually try to go at least a couple 100 meters away, and then depending on the terrain, pop out and have a little look and see if I see what it might look like somewhere, but sometimes you don't see it for what feels like an hour. I'll take a peek here. Need to remember to refuel our little scarab. What you can do is we can use this little scanner on our genetic sampler tool, and it will kind of highlight the immediate vicinity. So sometimes it does help you a little bit as you move. What's that little patch? Is that a rock? Probably just a rock, I can't tell. Yeah, I think it's a rock. Man, I'm laid up. Hope all is well. Thank you. Me too. I kind of briefly spoke to Cosmo the other night. I was trying not to blow up his stream with my whining, but I had a pretty severe, like, allergic reaction to... I've been bitten by something, and I don't know what it is, unfortunately. My assumption is that it's a spider bite, but I can't really tell. I don't see any wound. It's just like a really bad, not so pleasant feeling patch right on the side of my upper leg, and it's in a spot where me sitting or walking around a lot and like exerting myself quite a bit is a little bit painful at times. So I've been trying to maintain my sanity, but also haven't really felt up to like streaming and doing a lot of work outside, and it's just been kind of frustrating. It's getting better, I think, but it's very slow moving. Is it a lump? Not really. It was a little swollen like 2 days ago, just a very small amount, but that's definitely gone down. But the discoloration is still there, and it's like I said, it's not really tender. It just is enough where, like, if I'm sitting or I bend my leg a certain manner, because it's like right on the edge of my upper leg, my thigh. So like anytime I'm engaging or disengaging that muscle, it really is just like, oh man, like I could literally just do anything else. Could it have been a tick bite? I'm up to 5 or 6 this summer. I worried about that too. I actually have a sibling who she unfortunately suffers from Lyme disease now, and I worried that it was a tick bite, but we've kind of looked at it. I've, talked to both of my parents about it. My mother's was a nurse her entire career. She's convinced that it is some type of spider bite. A tick bite usually, from what I've been told, is like very shaped like a bullseye. Like there's a lot of coloration and discoloration, and this one's just a solid kind of patch with no light spots or rings or anything. It does not really itch at all. Like, if anything, maybe the very outside edge where there's no discoloration and irritation is, but not enough where I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm like ready to chew my leg off. Like, not like that. Ticks are bad in this area though, that's for sure. I, knock on wood, don't have to spend too much time in like really brushy areas this time of year. So, even baling hay and things, I'm pretty much working in fields that are already mowed and shorter than our yard. Ooh, we got a little bit of a scan up there. Might go check that out in this general direction. All my life I've never had that bullseye from a tick bite. Really? I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible that that's what got me. The thing that shocks me, I've seen ticks before and like had them on me, thankfully not dug in or like actually biting me. I've never seen a tick on me that, even if it hadn't or had been on me and not bitten me, that I haven't had to like kind of forcefully remove, because their body design is like to latch on so well. So, I mean, it's totally possible. I haven't had any symptoms though. Like, I haven't been fevered. I'm not, vomiting, nausea, anything like that. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Now, where did we get that nod on our scanner? I know I heard it. Maybe we didn't go far enough where I strayed to the right a bit too much. Spiders don't usually bite. You must have really pissed that one off. Well, I figured the same thing as well. I know they don't really do it unless, they're threatened or something. But being in an older farmhouse, I wondered, like, maybe when I had washed my bedding and, was swapping out blankets, clean linens from a closet, maybe it was near the clean linens and I didn't know, and made my bed, and then, next thing you know, at some point in the evening, you're going to lay down, and maybe I got a little too close to him and threatened him. I don't know. I don't know. If it is still like this tomorrow, I'm probably going to see about getting checked out, because I just don't want anything to get worse. It's not worse, knock on wood, but it's just annoying to not have it get much better either. I would say today it's far less tender than it was in certain positions. Like, I'm not feeling nearly as like skittish about what I'm doing and how it feels. Yesterday was a little rough. Alright, this is driving me crazy. Like, where did I get that little blip? Surely there was something here. past it, maybe, if anything, because that's uphill. Like, surely I wouldn't have caught anything on the other side. Just be clogged pore, follicle infection. I thought about that too. I mean, it doesn't look like anything is, you know, like, definitely got the little bit of hair on my leg, but not anything like a rainforest or anything down there, so not quite sure. I'll have to give it another once over, and I've been really keen to take showers, even with there's our patch right there. I've kept some antibacterial cream on it, like an antiseptic, just to make sure nothing is infected or can really get infected, but I've been taking it pretty easy. Of course, it's white. That's amazing. An ingrown hair. So I had that issue many years ago on my leg as well, and turned into a real mess. I had to go to the doctor and get some medication for it because they didn't want it to get worse and cause me any issues. So I've looked at this several times. It just doesn't act like, it acts like it's too big of a patch. Like, when I had the issue with the hair, it was like just a very small, isolated spot. This is much bigger. And again, I spend a lot of this time of year with really hot weather, like in loose gym shorts, because thankfully I'm working around home and just casual yard work for the most part, or near the greenhouse. So definitely not like really in heavy, overburdening clothing. So if you drive up to it with the car, does it register on the radar? I don't believe it does, not the one we scanned. Let's go test our theory. The little blips that it shows us on the radar right now are the bar in front with the radar kind of fan is telling us about like mineral deposits that we can mine. So that I know is not it. Now this thing where it shows the little picture of the vehicle, I feel like is kind of somewhat useless, because it just really shows us like the elevation as it's changing in real time, which is probably kind of hard to see maybe. Have I had chicken pox? Yes, when I was very young. Throttle on these things is so finicky. Now I gotta reacquaint myself here with where the hell our scan was. It is, should be right about here. Are we like right on top of it? Yeah, it's actually behind us. I passed it up. Could be shingles. Think so? There's the bacteria patch. So see how it alerts the little blue, like with our turret? Kind of flashes and makes a very faint noise. So it does that, but on the radar, it doesn't really show anything other. See, these are kind of misleading because it's just showing like what's further away. Let's see what it does if we get, excuse me, really close. Yeah, I don't think those are just the blips from, let's see if it changes if I pull like right past it. Yeah. Supposedly the way this has been explained to me in the past is the short blips are indicating something much closer in distance, and then the longer lines are much further away, and as you get closer those lines come in and then spread horizontally. So it's not even really, I mean, it's not necessary for us to spend like an uber ridiculous amount of time searching and scanning for bacteria. It's just a pretty sizable payout for exploration in this game nowadays, so my hope was that it wouldn't be white and blend in with this horrific beach sand terrain that we have, so unfortunately we did not luck out. I have shingles, but they're all on the roof. Yeah, there's a lot of noise on there, and I don't believe you can filter these radars either. It's pretty rudimentary systems, considering it's a space technology based. God, there's no way we're ever gonna see another bacteria patch without being right on top of it. We need to do a little synthesis for some fuel here for the old Scarab SRV. We're down probably, what are we at here? Just shows us the time left on use. We'll do should be able to synthesize some fuel here. Refuel. Boom. Wouldn't it be nice to refuel your car like that? Hit a button and wait 20 seconds. We'll take a little bit of a look, but if it seems like it's going to be insanely difficult to find, then I'll just move on. It's never worth wasting a huge chunk of time. I kind of passively use the radar in this game to, like, if I happen to get close to a mineable protrusion of some kind, I will use the radar just to make sure I'm like headed that direction, but unless I really need a material, I don't even really worry about it much. It's just not, just kind of a passive thing that I do little by little as I'm out here. I may live to regret that at some point, but hey. Flatter areas are typically where you find the bacteria. Elevation and rough spots definitely aren't typically where it's at in most cases. See, there's a rocky bronzite chondrite. Interesting name. Ooh, we're right on top of it. I didn't think it was that far away, or that close rather. Thought it was a bit further away. Alright. So right now, use that. These are the ones that suck when it's like in the middle of a little outcropping though. Amana, I was very close to picking up Carrier Commander 2 yesterday. I have kind of dipped out of I've removed my hat from the Diablo 4 ring. I don't know if you guys had seen, they are getting some serious backlash in like the past 24 hours over their horrific patch that they just put out. And all these players are paying money or have already paid money to play the quote first season of the game, which I wasn't a fan of the idea of them doing seasons anyway. And Blizzard has just nuked all of the abilities and builds in that game into the dirt. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm not about to spend money on this. So I'm kind of in the mood to find some new games to play and spend my time on, because unfortunately Diablo has kind of failed me now. Another little outcropping right here. Funny that we were talking about those and now I'm finding multiple within less than 200 meters. Yeah, I'm sure it's only mainly people, you know, that are concerned or in that realm of, you know, caring about the game and following along, but it's not going well for Blizzard right now, we'll say that much. Like, they're in some hot water with the community. It does stink. It was kind of a fun game when you just wanted to have that mindless farm some loot and make your build a little more powerful and farm more loot and etc. Just that loop, that feedback loop. But they really nuked things like quite a bit over the top. I'm not sure what their mindset is, other than they're looking at it from corporate side and we want you to spend as much time and money as humanly possible in this game. I think we got everything there, just those. Looks like it. Definitely still some lightning and thunder we're getting right now. If we actually get rain, that would probably be helpful for us. So dry. Oh, is that bacteria? Yes, it is. That's a pretty good stroke of luck. Now watch, the hard part's going to be us finding the third and final sample we need. Boom. I will definitely consider it Cosmo if I pick it up. I'm probably going to pick it up sooner than later because there's nothing else to really play. Like, I have, you know, some older games that are just sitting collecting dust, but most of them are ones that I just don't have the instinct or, you know, feeling to kind of get into right now. And it's just kind of how I play. Like, whatever sounds enticing at the time, I'll rotate between for better or worse. But I like that Carrier Command has that option for us to play multiplayer, like with people together. I really love that. If I do, I will for sure let you know. I'll come crash your Twitch again as you stream more Yuba. Before we find that third sample, I am going to take a moment, get some more water, and check on this and make sure everything still looks hunky-dory. Be right back, guys. Took a little minute there. Got a drink and wanted to put a little ice on this while I'm sitting here. Little ice pack. Trying to convince myself to not be like all the people that will read WebMD and convince themselves that they have hemorrhagic fever or something horrible. Bubonic plague, I don't know. If I felt worse, I'd be more worried. But I'm fine. Bubonic. Yeah, bubonic plague. That's all. It's nothing serious. I really want to get lucky and find this last bacteria sample. Like, I will be thrilled if we find just one more. That's all we need. It is actually raining pretty good here. This is the first time we're getting rain in literally weeks. There was some thunder and lightning. So if the stream cuts out as any point here, you guys know what happened. Just scrape the bacteria in your leg. No, thank you. We're gonna find it somewhere right out here in this nice big flat area. I have a feeling. Right across from us, I bet. Also, as an added bonus, saw that Carrier Command 2 has VR support, which is right up my alley as well. Played with my index a little bit yesterday just to kind of clean things up, make sure everything was running good. Actually heard the thunder from your mic. It was pretty loud. I have the window pretty far open up here since it's blowing a different direction, like away from this side of the house. Want to keep some nice air moving. Yeah, it was a pretty big strike there. When I looked up like that, I could hear it and see the flash. It's actually surprisingly calm, so it's kind of nice to see and hear it without it being a monsoon-like wind. First rain in definitely a couple weeks. We really needed rain here. I know you guys did not, but we needed some. Probably went a little further than I should have, but there's lots of flat areas up here, so more thunder. Flat patch up here looks like where we'll stop and take a peek or two. That's just like a big low spot. It's gotta be out here somewhere. It's gotta be. Let's hop out on foot for a minute and see what we see. Also had to take that minute and make sure the fishies were fed for the evening. I don't want to let those guys go uncared for. Make sure they get their nutritious dinner. how little patches it looks like it kicks up dust. That's pretty crazy when you're out in the middle of nowhere. I knew, because it's the last sample we need, that this one will probably be an eternity before I can stumble across it. Too far from our SRV. Remind you of No Man's Sky. I have No Man's Sky. I actually like No Man's Sky. I just don't know what it is. Subconsciously, I kind of prefer Elite Dangerous, even though it's not as colorful typically and not as flashy with the ships and whatnot. Although the ships in Elite, there's some pretty nice ones. No Man's Sky is fun though. A lot of customization. Cool to interact with the NPCs, which now I guess Elite has NPCs also, so they've kind of upgraded that as well. Just a really gentle rolling thunder now. No Man's Sky, I think the only thing that really honestly turns me off of that game a little bit now is it's just a little bit buggy sometimes. Like with the base building and textures and things acting kind of weird. It's nowhere near like it used to be, but compared to like Elite, like I know little things in Elite, like when we landed earlier, the landing gear on the ship looked like they're kind of not even on the ground, and like those rover wheels kind of look like we are floating a little bit as well, which is ironic to say that now. But like I don't notice like the texture pop-ins and stuff that I do on No Man's. Like I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like it's always at very random times. Like you'll be halfway through building your base and some wall will have like ground texture show through it and it just appears and it's like, what the hell? Like I removed that or leveled the ground. It's much better though, so I can't knock it. It's probably not as bad as it was. It's been a while since I've played. Just gotta find one more sample. Then we can get the hell out of here. I like the look of this planet, the surface being lighter, but the fact that the bacteria is literally white is just horrific. This is like worst case scenario. Can you deform terrain in this? No. It's very set in stone, generated by their whatever engine it is they're using, and that's kind of it. It was actually, this game, the only reason I really took quite a break from it the last couple months was when I upgraded my GPU, the AMD GPU that I went to, the 7900 XT, was having like a horrible response to this game's like planetary generation engine. And what it would do is, like, when I would go into my system map and be wanting to look at planets that I scanned and see, like, is there anything there? Do I need to go look? Whatever. The planets were literally, like, shaped triangular, and they would be, like, inverted to look like a black hole collapsing on itself. Like, it was so weird. And it was very frustrating. Like, I would log on every couple weeks and be like, oh, maybe they patched it, and there was like nothing, and I was just so frustrated. I just quit playing for a few months, and then one day they were like, oh, it's, you know, got all the kinks worked out with that GPU, you should be good. And then I tried it and it worked great. So Cosmo, I ended up solely looking for good vistas on No Man's Sky. There are some beautiful scenery shots, scenic shots on No Man's Sky. I have a few, I think, saved on Steam. I agree, there are some really pretty scenes. for sure. We're like at the base of a hill at most. Every time I think I see a patch off in the distance, it turns out to be a big rock. Definitely just rocks. This is about as flat as it gets. Surely. Something. Surely. I think, like we've talked about it before, I think the other thing with No Man's Sky for me that's kind of not a deal breaker by any means, but gets tedious much quicker, even though everybody says like this is tedious as well, is the fact that there's literally like 1,000 different resources in that game. And like this game, there are technically, you know, a lot of resources, but it's kind of passive system. Like in the back, you're never looking at it really directly until you need to engage with it for like synthesis or repairs or something like really niche. No Man's Sky is like you have to be like, oh, I want to craft that platform or that base piece. I need X amount of this, this, and this. And it's like, there's so much like juggling back and forth, and for me it's like that OCD of wanting it to be organized as well, and I'm just like, oh, I might as well be playing like Destiny or Diablo or something again, like. And those games give you that bare bones like feedback loop of like, keep going, you're gonna get something better. I cannot believe I've just not seen anything. Yikes. Need to get out of these rough areas. I really thought. Get down here, maybe I'll walk around a bit more. This area is flat enough, we can see it. The mental juggling of hunting resources in No Man's Sky and Astroneer I find annoying. Agree with Cosmo though, I prefer to just explore in landscapes. Yeah. Astroneer was fun too, but I agree it was the same deal. Like you were always like, I haven't played that in a really long time, but it was very much like you would mine quote unquote a little bit, find some resources, then you had to extract them, bring them back to your little base, and it was just like a whole loop of like how efficiently, how quickly can I do this, and sometimes you just want to walk around and see what all's out there. This is not quite as good looking of a spot as I'd hoped. That's kind of what I think I like personally about Elite, is like I can play this at a slower pace, which is kind of how I tend to play most things, and I can, if I just want to cruise around and look at different scenes and whatnot, I can. And Elite really lets you lean into those roles much more, like you outfit your ship strictly for exploring, etc., and you can do that. can do combat, trading. I did for a while is how I stacked most of the cash I have in game, and at any time you can switch or do all of them. I like that. Gosh, there's not jack squat. This looks a little promising, but it just looks so barren with nothing around. Man. Plus, once you've been out here for a while, it really feels like you could have easily driven through here on your SRV, but we would be able to see my tire marks. That's not it, is it? No, that's just like a little pattern in the sand, a little indentation. It's going to be back to the old SRV and then drive around more. It's just faster and more efficient compared to doing this. Energy I don't need to waste. Could have been any other color and we probably could have found it by now, but the fact that it's white is just making it so much more difficult. What's that new game coming out in the supposed future? That Starfield, is that it? Bethesda one, I think. Is that who's making it? Around. $230 away from our SRV. Hop back in that puppy and see if we can do like one more decent jaunt here to find that bacteria, or maybe we'll call it and move on. Like I said, no reason to run around all night for it. It's a good payout, but if it takes you 3 hours to find it, it kind of translates into not that great. I think we'll go further that way. About, what is that? Get away from some of these hills. Lightning, but thunder's quieted down. As I say that, big boom. I would think in this big flat area I would see it or be able to hit it with a little nod to the scan, but man, just not having that luck. Oh, was that a flash? Tell me it is. Oh my gosh. Yes. I don't think it's one of the ones we already scanned. Surely it wasn't that close. I don't see tire marks nearby. Drive right over top of it, kill all the bacteria. Ready to sample, let's go. Boom. Perfect. Perfect. Now we just find a flat spot and recall our ship, and we'll get the hell out of here. On to more colorful places, colorful things to scan. I'd like to find a couple water worlds which are worth good money, and even though you can't land on them in this game, we could make some good cash, and usually there's some other interesting systems when it's just the right spacing for a planet to sustain water life. Now the question is, can I find a big enough spot where I can recall that ship? It's the one bad thing about having one of the biggest ships in the game is lots of room to pack all sorts of resources that you might need in modules, but it's not so great for maneuverability. Which is why I play pretty cautiously with these SRVs, because if this thing gets broken or damaged or worse, destroyed, then we're kind of screwed. Just need a big flat spot. Might work. It'll probably try to auto land it right over top of these little rocky outcroppings though. What happens if we park like right on one? Let's see where the ship goes. Takes it a minute to pop into existence here. Question is, can he land? Maybe. Sounds like he did. Okay. Yeah, I think we could fit like maybe 2 or 3 Asp Explorers in that thing. Such a cool ship though. With my cliche red paint job that I tend to put on everything. Ooh, not a good spot to load the old SRV though. Sheesh. Talk about uneven. Perfect. I don't think there is anywhere else in this system, but I wanted to look at a few things on the galaxy map anyway. Check the system really quickly. Anything with the half moon blue is landable atmosphere, but most of those won't have any type of biological life, which is worth more. Geographical, they can have, but those tend to be worth much less. So that's that, but I wanted to look at, we were talking about how far out we were. So back that way is the old bubble, as they call it. Let's see where we are. I thought there was a way to move a little faster, but without my HOTAS hooked up, I don't know that I can remember how to do it. We're further away than I thought. A lot of lightning there, sheesh. Oh yeah, we're a long ways. There's a faster way to do this. Let's check. Probably had bookmarks saved, maybe? This will get us in the bubble. Let's see how far this is, where we were trading a while back. 82 jumps. What's the distance? 2,600 light years. That's actually much further away than I would have expected me to have gotten. Let's cancel routes. Let's look up, we were talking about Colonia earlier. Definitely some rolling thunder now. Look how far that is. Let's see what that is in comparison to like being back at the bubble. $563 jumps. It is. Holy cow, it's 19,512 light years. Oh. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Look at that. We're like arguably not even halfway, not even close. And when you zoom that far out, it makes you feel like, wow, I've gone absolutely nowhere. Can't remember what is up is R. Wow, that's so far away. I've just been kind of working my way towards Sagittarius A because you get that beautiful view, the band of all the light. That's a cool little nebula there to head toward. We could go this way a little bit, get close to it. So the question becomes, where do we want to go? That's got us mapped all the way to Colonia, which is not really on the radar right now. Let's head out just a ways toward this guy. I kind of do it in small chunks because it can get really risky with where refuelable stars are, which I know you can tweak the settings to make it so you only go to systems with refuelable stars, but I like to explore a little more thoroughly, I guess. Oh no! What happened? Why is the flight control like so janked? What happened? Holy hell, why did it rotate like that, like it had flight assist off? Oh my god, that gave me a heart attack, you have no idea. I don't like how that is reacting. Like, I gotta get that checked and shut off. Holy hell. So why the hell? Thrust is still working correctly, but why did we lose? Flight assist is like janked. Something got switched in the controls. Whew. That is like stroke right there. Flight assist should have been... Is it because we remapped that earlier for... No, R and F. So why the hell did it do that? Whew. Man, that genuinely scared the hell out of me, like so much. It's still scaring me because we are not in a position where I want to go scooting off. No, we're not trying to auto land. I can shut the damn landing gear off, but at this point I don't know. Jesus. Let's see if I can even get oriented the right way here. When you're a couple thousand light years out, the last thing I want to see happen is me like rolling the ship onto its top and just blowing up, or worse, just disabling it and dying. Good Lord. Whew. Seems to be acting okay. I think it like defaulted back to my like the game default settings for keyboard, maybe because I had the controls custom for my flight stick and throttle, that it somehow was like kind of tweaked in a weird configuration without it plugged in. I don't know. Good Lord, that's scary. I could have killed myself numerous occasions. Definitely got just crazy roll though. Whew, nerve-wracking. Almost out of orbital cruise. See if she acts okay. It's definitely responding like flight assist is on, which is what we want. Without a flight stick on, I cannot even remotely try to fly without flight assist on with mouse and keyboard. We will get killed. That legit was a scare. Not a fan. Come too far to allow it to end like that. 32.5 light years. Our wake scanner, we need our discovery scanner. scan anything from here, even though we're really close. This is all icy and metallic, it looks like. There's not much here though, we're already 45%. Looks like we actually have, I was gonna say this is scanning like it's an asteroid belt. Something else is still there. Rocky. Not very valuable. There's going to be much in the way of anything useful here, really. It is a candidate for terraforming, though. That makes it much more valuable. None of these. We will check for biological signals just to do it, but I doubt there's going to be much of anything. That one will probably scan though, although it has been mapped by somebody in the past. Nothing. I'd be surprised if they have. There's one biological. It's high metal. Won't worry about it. We'll refuel and move on to the next batch. I was finding a lot more undiscovered planets earlier when I got back into playing on this save, but since I started dropping down a little bit on the, whatever you'd like to say, the orbital plane, it seems like other people have done the same in the past, because I'm seeing a lot more scanned planets now, which is kind of surprising. Most people don't seem to do that, at least not much, but apparently they have here anyways. We're only about, what do we say, 2,600 light years out. That's not really uber far yet. I'd say till we get over like 5, 6, 7,000 away that people start to really, oh, I'm tired, I want to go back. These are all the little tedious maneuvers you can really do pretty quickly and a little more efficiently with the voice commands, those HCS voice packs. You can just call out what you want to have done, you know, like set my next jump point, and I forget the terminology, I'd have to pull up the cheat sheet for it, but it's really helpful. You don't have to sit there and manually configure everything. It's definitely a much more hands-off approach, which is fun. That's it. Just one sun here. Interesting. I remember when I was trading, I had I don't know if you were familiar with a lot of the different ships, Cosmo, but the Type 9, and it's basically like flying a school bus with storage bins in it, and that thing would damn near like overheat just by looking at a star. Like, it was terrible. Every time you jumped into a system on your trade route, you were almost like running hot. It was so miserable. It made it feel much riskier than it needs to be. Type 9 and the Type 7, the one smaller than that, both do it. Like Type 7, I recall, I think is even worse. Like, you would jump into a system and it was like 70% heat. It's like, ugh. Yikes, that sun melts your eyes. You need some sunglasses for this one. Ooh, 22 bodies here. Holy cow. Of them are clusters, though. Gas giant with water-based life, that's fun. AC bodies, nothing special. Patch is kind of worn itself out already. It's pretty toasty upstairs tonight. Yeah, you guys tell me if you are interested in playing Carrier Command. I'm thinking I'm going to pick it up this week for sure, because I'm definitely interested in trying it out. And, you know, like we said, that's just for me as an added benefit as well, to play with other people. So zero pressure for it, but I'm probably going to pick it up for sure. So I would definitely play with you guys. It'd be fun to have a couple of us together and play, because I will definitely be learning that one kind of from scratch. I've watched a few videos, but I've not yet played it. That's like not getting any sun there. That is like pitch black. That one almost too. Giant, some kind, couple of them maybe. I'm seeing a couple scans. It could be on the other side of the star here, although it doesn't look like it's flipping anything, which means I missed one, missed several. Where in the hell? I'm gonna have to move around a bit. Let's refuel first, I guess. Yeah, personally, I was kind of hoping that Diablo was going to be like my go-to game for just kind of chill, farm out some gear, work on a build that was interesting to me, sort of thing, and have fun slashing through enemies. But man, the way they approach this first season with the player base is just, unfortunately, sounds like typical Blizzard nowadays, like just really not giving a flying hoot about their players. I'm interested tomorrow. They're supposed to do like a what they call it, a fireside chat. I was like, oh, that's wishful thinking that people aren't literally wanting to burn you guys at the stake right now for the game. And unfortunately, a lot of it seems justified. It's just they went like way out of their way to really nerf and make things like a little absurdly difficult. Where in the hell? Oh, right there. It's very faint signal. I couldn't see it. Gas giant with ammonia-based life. Very interesting. So the rest of these are going to be icy bodies, which are about useless. We'll scan them just for continuity's sake. It. Now for a quick system overview. These aren't going to be terraformable, I would assume, too far away from the sun. Same with these, probably. That's a cooler star, if I'm not mistaken. So not much of anything useful here. Sooner than I thought, but I might be switching out my little ice pack here for another one. Try to keep a little bit of ice on it, not while I'm sleeping, but before that, give it a little bit of a rest. It's thankfully not much in the way of irritation. Belts, clusters. I like to try to let it do as much of that as it can on its own. It's just less work for us to manually scan. That was it. Nothing here. I think. There's our next jump point. We'll go ahead and top off fuel though. really don't have to be doing that so often. I'm so used to flying much smaller ships where fuel is a little tougher to keep in reserves. This thing holds so much. You really have to jump quite a ways before you really make a dent in it. Cosmo, how are you liking your U-boat streams? I think you were doing really well with like talking through everything you were doing. It was very thorough. And I wasn't even able to be around for the whole thing the other night. I only caught you toward the very end. The sun we'll have to nab. These are literally all looking like icy or metal content worlds, which is kind of useless. Missing's what's behind the star, so let me move here. Star behind us. Now we might be in a little better position. That's everything. We'll take a quick peek at the old system. Don't think any of these are probably going to be like very obvious terraforming situation. Doesn't look like it. One biological. Nah. Feeling a little lazy after that jaunt for all the white bacteria earlier, which was like a little worse than I was hoping. This playlist a lot better tonight than some of the other ones I've tried. There's a few on here I would take out that are a little too sleepy for me, but most of what I've heard has been pretty solid for me. Not bad, not bad. Ice. Lame. Everything. Let's see. I think these were a lot of icy bodies though, so probably more of the same in terms of nothing uber valuable. Might see a few that have bacteria or something. I'd like to find some other biological that I guess technically any of them can be something other than bacteria, which a lot of times isn't nearly as hard to find. Nothing. There's one. Do we want to go check it out? I think we're going to. I'm going to get us refueled and we'll head that direction. But before we do our landing and slow process of getting there, I am definitely going to grab my drink that I forgot to put on my desk. This one looks like it should be much closer though. Actually, what we're gonna do, oops, we're gonna bring up that surface scanner, progress extremely slowly, and you guys will get the little live look here while I grab my drink that I forgot. And maybe this thing will ram right into it. Alright. Doesn't look like I blew up. Couldn't find my glass, had to dirty another one. Speed up here and see what we see. Hopefully it's not anything too crazy to scan. It's gonna be bacteria, I can feel it already though. Closer than I think I wanted to. 6 probe efficiency target. Let's see where this lands us. Send one of those a little further back, but hopefully that'll put 4. If we can get to 90, we're gonna be sure. Ah, so close. Might as well try to make it easier rather than wrap it all the way around the back. Is bacterium. Damn. First discovered by Long Night of Solace. Interesting player tag. Alright, well, committed to at least attempting to find bacteria. Let's go try to get ourselves a bigger area, more accessible to the other areas. G's changing. That's interesting. Still very low. I guess it increases as you're getting closer to the actual body. It's still roughly a quarter normal gravity, so it shouldn't be yanking us anywhere too badly. Osmo, I saw there was a way to change the filter setting. Is there more than just bacterium? There is a way to change the filter setting. That's the thing, though. Everything we've come across so far has only had bacterium. So you can, when you're, before we begin our descent, when it shows the biological, the signal up there, if there's, like, say, other things like biological bacterium that, whatever the one is that's like coral formations almost, you can toggle it between, it's like Q and E is the default controls, and it lets you select, like, am I looking for bacterium, one of the others, etc. So that is a doable thing, just not for, unfortunately, what we've been finding. Oh, this surface is horrible too. Look at that. I've never even seen bacteria samples on something this rough. Wow, this is strange. I'll say that. God, I might not be able to set this big whale down anywhere. Interesting. This is interesting. I really hope there's a flat enough, big enough spot here to get this parked, and then we'll kind of scout it out with ASRV, because this is... I've never seen bacteria on something this rough. We're coming in hot. Oh, too fast, Swank. Oh yeah, it's really rough here. I kind of missed my mark too. We went a little too far forward. Was not expecting this kind of surface. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to manually disable this thing and do it myself. This is gonna keep rocking us back and forth over a hill. He tries to find the weirdest positions to land. Smacking the ground. Oh my gosh. Not a fan of where that is, but okay. This is light surface too. I swear if it's not like a bold colored bacterium, there's no way. I can't get over how rough. I need to kill this light again also, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to see anything. Looks like a mighty frigid planet. Can't get over the pittedness of the surface. Where in the hell are you gonna find bacteria? I didn't think that the game really generated bacteria in areas that weren't relatively flat. This is anything but. Throttle on these things is very sketchy too with mouse and keyboard compared to like Otis controls. It's very like going way too fast and then it just stops. And then you ramp it up and it goes way too fast and back and forth. It's not very consistent, unfortunately. Like right now, we're really bobbing back and forth and back and forth. That's a little bit flatter up there if we can get there in one piece. If it is like white again, I'm literally going back to the ship and leaving. I'm not chasing down something so hard to see. It's already bad enough you kind of fly blind to find them. Say that's one for sure. It's fairly light. Using the wrong controls like I'm in my ship. Can you fly around the planet like in No Man's Sky to search from above? You can do that, Amanum. It's a good recommended trick like in the community to be in your ship and just kind of skate the surface, so to speak, so you can see things a little quicker from further away. What I've found out personally is it's kind of hard with such a big ship like I have because it's not very maneuverable. So the fact that the nose, like the bridge of mine, is so long, it's really tough because I have to come in at such a steep angle and I'm still kind of butted higher up than I'd like to be. So it's kind of like a trade-off between visibility and ramming and scraping the nose of my ship and fly upside down. Yeah. Wish I could. People do. There's some crazy videos online of guys that do like the PvP game modes in this and like how amazing they are with like free flight assist. It's a sight to see. Why am I even trying to scan this? It's going to be so hard to find. Gold organic, they call it. Yikes. Although that's a pretty big patch. That helped. Invert the bird. I don't know if you guys watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, one of my all-time favorites. Frank gets drunk on the plane and tells the flight attendant he was a pilot and a doctor. The plane was going down. I had to invert the bird. What, you don't think I'm a doctor? I don't think you're a pilot. Danny DeVito, love him. What's going to be really painful is if I'm spending all this time to collect these samples and like maybe in the last couple of months they've nerfed the payouts, because that would be super painful and really make me frustrated. These always used to be like some of the highest paying tasks you could do in game. Like you turn in these samples, they're worth like millions of credits a piece, which is a million times better than almost anything else you can do in the game other than maybe high volume trading. I'm on season 2 or 3 still, need to get back to that. Oh, it's so fantastic. It's like my sense of humor through and through. I laugh so much at it. The show makes me happy. I love that just their responses to each other, like between Dennis and Dee and Charlie and Mac. It's just they're so absurd. The earlier seasons were good too, though. Like, the earlier seasons are some of my favorite ones to go back and rewatch. Like, I've watched them so many times. One of my favorites for sure. Very surprised we found this big flat area. I really didn't think, judging by where we landed. My god, it's tough to see though with that, not a lot of contrast. Couldn't get red bacteria or blue or anything. Black market slave trade was pretty good back in the day. I think that stuff still is fairly viable, Cosmo. I did it a few... Oh, there goes my ship. It scared the hell out of me. Saw that big shadow. I did a few runs of that back in the day. I didn't stick with it very long. Trading, man, you can make really good money if you kit the ship right and get some of the higher end stuff and the right commodities. But it just puts me to sleep, man, like making those loops. Oof. At least exploring, I can kind of get out, change my mind, move around, go somewhere different, skip something entirely, whatever. It's much slower, but just entertaining to me, I guess. Yikes, I am regretting this search for this bacteria. I used to just do loop routes sometimes, and I would just search for, like, you know, look up a particular commodity within a certain radius of where I was at the time, and I would just pack every inch of the ship with whatever I could get that was the best buy there, and then I'd find the closest place to loop and sell. And honestly, it pays pretty well. You can make some good money quickly. Just does not look like enough of a marking or discoloration anywhere. Just a few rocks and little dimples and whatnot in the ground. I feel like this is going to take us back up top to that really rough like area where similar to where we landed. Okay, pleasant surprise. I'll take it. Did we get a tick on that scanner, or was that me just wishfully thinking? Right? An area I don't really want to go down into. Try to get up here and see what kind of mess we get into, and then we'll go from there. Type of rock formation a little bit to our right there. relatively ahead of us somewhere. Radar does make a little bit of a tick noise. I think I have the SFX turned down quite a bit, so it's really not very noticeable between me yapping and the music and whatnot. You can hear a little bit of it. It's almost like a really mild Geiger counter. There's one of our rocks. It picked up 180 some meters out. Might try to grab it if it's not in a horrible spot as well. Looks like it's probably on the side of that hill, which is kind of crappy. Oh yeah, it is. Yikes. Nice to grab those couple little things though. A few little materials we might need for important repair or resupply of some kind. Sulfur, a lot more common. Manim, you'll be happy to know that we today just literally magically, like out of nowhere, and pretty much at this point we figured it was a lost cause, the plunger came out of the baler. I was blown away. Like, just came loose with some encouragement from pulling against it with the come along and the tractor yanking on it. It came out. It is officially removed, which everything had already been disconnected. We just couldn't get it out. So I wasn't up there when he was able to get it out himself with using just the equipment and the come along, but I asked him, that was the first thing I said, was like, did you see, what caused the obstruction? Like anything stuck, nudged, whatever? And he was like, nope, you can't see like a abnormal wear mark, anything. So we have no idea, like, is the actual channel itself, like in the baler, warped somehow? Was it like a manufacturing defect, like the way it was put together? Because we've never had the plunger out of that baler up to this point. Like, we genuinely don't know, which is still kind of scary. But it was just it was relieved for him, that he was able to get it out. But yeah, we got it out. The bearings definitely will need and are going to be replaced for sure, because there's at least one or two that are bad, but I think there's 5 or 6 total, and the other ones look okay. I mean, they're definitely not broken beyond repair, but it did come out. Very random, right? Thank you. It is great news for sure. Big relief. Just like feels like a month worth of stress kind of just finally gone. We pretty much figured it was going to be a lost cause. Like, we were eyeballing like buying a new baler of some kind, and then debating on, over the winter, like what to do with this one. But just in a last ditch kind of whatever, mindset, he had a come along hook to it like we had, and readjusted it a little bit to try to keep it nice and centered, and attached that to a beam in the barn, and then the other end of the baler we hooked the tractor to it and just kind of nudged on it, and it started out, it moved like an inch or two, and then it was like okay, and then tried it again, and next thing you know, there it goes, like sliding out. Definitely a big relief, yes. My gosh, are we ever gonna see this thing, or am I just like gonna say F it and they definitely do not make the spawns of this stuff abundant. It's very, very minimal. Better grease the crap out of those rails. Yeah, that's what we said. Putting it back in, just soak it between grease and like throw some WD-40 or something on there just to make sure you give yourself every opportunity to keep it as friction free as possible. What's up, Jet? Boys, this bacteria is just like MIA. It does not want to be found. It prefers to live in solitude. Yeah, WD-40. Yeah, at this point, after when the new bearings are installed, it'll be just throwing some good heavy lithium grease on there to last a while, because like you said, anything like that, the petroleum-based stuff will just melt everything off and dry up the first time it gets to be about 80 degrees, right? So definitely don't want to mix them. Just Vaseline. Stranger things, man. Stranger things on farm equipment, that's for sure. Astroglide. Yikes. Yikes indeed. Good lord. I have like one more flat area in my energy pile, and then it's just like time to summon the ship and leave. I hate this place. So barren, so rough. It is a plunger. That it is. That it is. Try to summon the ship. I have a feeling it's going to try to put it literally in like the one spot we probably don't want to be. KY. Oh lord. Arriving in 28 seconds. Yeah, it was just such a relief to see that thing finally come out of there like it's supposed to. Like, it was mind-blowing that some little broken, bent, warped piece was keeping it that tight without, like, any maneuverability. There she is. Oh my god, is it gonna try to land on my head? It's pretty close. Might have to back up a little. Should be okay. Maybe. Boy. Please land. Please land right here, because if you try to move it, AI, it's gonna like go into that hillside or like down over that cliff. No? Okay, we'll take it, even though it's a little goofy and half the legs aren't on the ground. Once again, they didn't put me in good position to try to line this thing up. Figure it out. Jesus. Not a fan of the bacteria samples are the worst to try to find. They're terrible. Super hard to find, just not easy to see. Like, plants are good, those coral kind of growths are good because you can see them from a mile away no matter the color. So many different things are good to find, but bacteria is like just worst. Controls felt okay that time. Didn't feel like we were all rolling over. Thanks, Amanum. Have a good night, sir. Talk to you. Let's see, where was our next jump? Doesn't look like I had one mapped. Might have finished, yeah, we finished where we were set. Let's do... do one jump and check out this system, and I may call it there for the night myself. It's only been about 3.5 hours. I like to try to go for 4, but considering the last rough couple of days with getting a decent night's sleep and the whole leg issue, I'd like to still get some rest. Hopefully feel a little better tomorrow again. And one thing after another lately. A different star than what we've been seeing. Get a little scan here. Oops. It's all out of whack there. Had combat mode on. 16 bodies here. looks like most of them are kind of ice, metal, and some combination thereof. Gas giant. There's another one there. Icy. Cool coloration on those. It's just a shame they all look so similar. It makes you feel definitely not worth spending the time and effort to go have a peek at them. Giants. Somebody behind. That's probably our last one. So let's see if we can refuel here. I'm not even sure on this star. This was like a red dwarf, I think. Might have been the next, or not the next, but the final one in the sequence we picked, the third jump. Third leg. It's getting a little more scenic out here with those nebulas in the distance. Pretty cool. See that last one or two. Should be, I think, the last one. Yep. Perfect. System map. What we got here? Nothing terraformable. Check for biological, just in case. I highly doubt. I was gonna say that one because it's got the landable atmosphere. It's probably bacteria. That's got geological. Geological again. He said if you can't get out of it, get into it. Oh, Lord. All right. My next question is, do we have Is Cosmo streaming? If he is, I could try to see what we could do about hooking him up, like hosting or something. I don't know. Let's see. Back on the boat. I haven't played much U-Boat Jet. I played a little bit yesterday and today. It's been fun, and I didn't do much other than kind of roll around in a patrol and just get a little more comfortable with settings and everything on the new gameplay. But I just kind of was bouncing around. I was telling these guys earlier this evening that I'm kind of itching to play something a little different, for better or worse. So I've been playing, like, I just did some Elite today, and I was trying to do a little Diablo, but that, if you've been following like any of that news around their community, is like their community's like on fire right now. Found a new Aussie captain. Nice. Let's see if Cosmo's not online right now. Okay. All right. He had a hairy one this morning with some good stuff. That's awesome. Those are the fun ones to watch. I love that. No, I see you, Cosmo. I guess I was wondering if you were streaming U-Boat tonight or anything for that matter. I was gonna say, if you were, I would just see, I'd either try to host your channel here or whatever. Not that I'm gonna bring you 50 people, but hey. Let's see. Yeah, no worries, sir. I totally get it. I really wish I'd been on streaming something the last few days, but I just did not have the energy in me after everything going on. It's kind of making me tired. I'd make it to about 10, 10:30, 10:45, and I was just ready to cash out. Like, I couldn't stay awake. But no worries whatsoever. That works out great with any of you guys. If you're streaming, let me know, or I'll try to keep it in mind, and we'll put you guys on if I happen to get off or whatever. But to the farm immediately. There you go. Alright guys, I'm going to take off. I will catch you guys hopefully tomorrow. I won't hold my breath with the way I've been feeling, but if we're feeling okay, I'll be around. Quote from a boy in his dog movie. You're nuts, Jet. You're nuts, man. Alright guys, peace. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, I'm sure it's on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube, man. Come on. Later, guys.